read the digital version.
Yeah.
Before everybody starts being like, ooh,
Nobody
read the packet.
We know that was a problem before.
I know, but today,
Four times.
today.
Back
did my
today.
homework.
Not you before times, but I mean, just some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's terrible for everyone.
Yeah. I don't think it's a homework for you. Actually, I thought we could all. Yeah, you can see it in one red line. East side.
Yeah.
Richard, are you?
It's all done. I was walking. I getting my. Visiting this surrounding.
Well, I was good.
So much.
And if you're.
5 minutes. Like 90 seconds.
Oh.
That's my next.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Nothing like that. But I probably will have.
Right there, the ball camp.
There used to be. Oh.
It's still well attended as usual.
This great. And do not.
This is the only.
I think it's around. Oh, you know, that's smart. That was so good. Right there.
Oh, and all. Yeah, the windows come for that. Oh, really?
I've done the point this.
Yes, great. Well, yeah, I'll do this one. Yeah.
Was one.
That's definitely.
All either.
Let's try that. Yeah. It's that. I think it is that. There's that.
Yeah, we have to do that.
Well, it's right now. Offer it. Otherwise.
We have so many.
Yeah, as we all know, use good man.
I wish I had seen that. I am not a wildflower. Like plastic, I gotta make sure.
It's.
Friendships were matching colors.
I noticed.
Go ahead and pictures in our office.
Can't hear the water.
Yeah. It's full house.
It feels better.
Yes.
You don't. Anybody signed up? You should. There you go.
Rob's over there.
Hey.
Oh,
There he
yeah.
is. How's it going? Good. How you doing? Good. Your new boss is treating you okay?
I don't.
Look at this guy sitting there.
He had a terrible experience. Very bad. It was a major workers' compensation issue. The risk management had to make it all.
Yeah.
Ah, Are you guys ready? All right, we're gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order at six.
Wait. Record.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome, everybody. We're gonna begin the meeting, 6:30 p.m. Let's do the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we got a full house, nobody's missing. So that's good. We have anybody signed up for speaking?
In progress.
Linda, you're up. Yes, ma'am. If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Linda McGrew, 734 Southeast Palmer Lane in Dayton.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's on the agenda, but, I'm here because I'm really disappointed in, the city council not approving anything for Old Timers Weekend. I've been here over 40+ years, and I was really sad to see that it didn't happen. I went to every Friday night that we've had, and the last couple of Friday nights, I haven't seen any council members there.
I was there last time,
I was there.
yeah. At a booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing of it is I remember almost every old timer picnic there was. I was even sort of disappointed with the fireman thing, because not at them, but because not a lot of people came out. There was very little people in the park. I went down, of course, I supported them. I don't mind supporting things like that. I was told also that there was no lighting for Christmas in the park either. And these are traditions that, you know, I don't understand why we wouldn't want to have things like this where it involves community members. I know that there was a lot of people talking about why there wasn't a parade this year. You know, and someone said, well, shoot, if it was because of money, I would have put $5-10 in. So, you know, I would have put $10 in, because it's something that Dayton, we've been in town for a long time, and I can remember back when there was coronations, and you know, you knew the people that were up there, and we have some old timers that have never been king and queen that would have been sort of cool to maybe see them up there, but and they're a constant in the city of Dayton. And I would love to see even more Hispanic people there, you know, except for Cinco de Mayo, and I don't know who supports that, so. But I'm really disappointed this year.
Well, I will tell you that it has not been canceled or anything like that. Things were a bit abbreviated this year for lack of funds as well as volunteers. And some other underlying things going on. This the city and the staff has had a whole lot of change and rumblings, and it makes it very difficult to have a continuous arrangement like that. And we do donate, we still donated, we paid for the barbecue, the firefighter barbecue, so.
Well, I wasn't under the impression the city of Dayton did that, because they made the,
We pay them, the fire department, to put that on. They don't pay for that ticket, we do.
well, they got grants. That's
No.
what they said.
No. From
Us,
us.
they did.
We were the
From
grant.
us. We fund that, so it's not like we didn't not fund anything.
So I'm a little confused at why we didn't have that Friday night versus Sunday. When a lot of people are not in town.
Have the old timers, because it's always traditionally been on Saturday, it's also more competition around Yamhill County.
I just, are we having it next year?
Yes. Kara Ecker has taken the reins as well as a few other people.
Okay, that's why I'm here is because I was very disappointed.
I know everybody.
And if I needed to have a bunch more people here, I could have said, well, show up at the meeting.
No, just,
Because,
go find Kara and volunteer and bring everybody you can to volunteer,
yeah,
please.
well, I was under the impression that someone volunteered and they said they didn't need any more volunteers, so.
Thanks, Linda, appreciate it. All right. Let's see, we're on to the consent agenda. Did y'all have a chance to look at the financials? Always the same. I'll understand the motion.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda that includes the financial summary and financial statement for the year ending July 2026.
Okay, a motion from Council McNamara, second from Councilor Tyro, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, we're stepping on down to action items. We have Hacker Architects, presentation. Come on up, sir.
Great. Well, hi, everyone. I think we've got a presentation coming up here that I'm going to share with you. Do I need to use this or can people hear me okay?
We're fine.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, yeah, we're Hacker Architects, Rock Portland, and we were hired to help do a building assessment and feasibility study to understand how you can utilize both this building, the annex, and then what to do with the library program and public works and trailer and this whole sort of campus of buildings. And what, since the presentation comes up here, what we did, why we're here in front of you today is because we've done a preliminary assessment of, in particular, the annex and this building. And we were not asked to look at where the library is right now. That building was already assumed to likely be taken offline and either sold or leased out for some other use or likely demolished. It's pretty apparent that there are some endemic problems in it that I think, at least for this conversation tonight, we're assuming that the city is not going to do anything to try and improve that building or repair it or fix it. If you wanted to, that would be an additional scope. We could go look at it, but right now we're going to focus on this building, the annex, and what you can do with what you have. And so I'm David Keltner. My name, I'm principal at Hacker, and I'm joined by Sophia Tan, is the project architect in our office. And she was the one that was on site doing all the building assessments. So if we have any specific questions about that, she's online and can answer those. Sophia, you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
Great. Awesome. Well, thanks. Okay, you have to, oh, go ahead, can I get it?
There you go. There you go.
Okay, it's a little cut off for some reason. Full screen. Ah, so awesome. Great. Okay. So, we have limited time with you this evening, so I'm gonna kind of go through this a little bit quickly so we can get to conversation. I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of questions. Basically, I'm gonna share some of the project goals that we had and what the goal is for this meeting. We did, like I said, a building site assessment. I'll give you a very, very high level summary. Again, if you have questions, we can come back to it. But we also, I'm gonna share with you the program work that we did. So we met with the library, public works, and the administrative folks. And got our heads around, like, not only what do you have now, what do you have right now, but what do you need for the future? So that we're thinking about that, not just kind of stopgap measure. And then the exciting part tonight, we're gonna bring some design options for this campus that we want all of you to kind of weigh in on and help us understand. In particular, what we want to share. Let's see. One of these all is to answer this question. We really wanted tonight, of all the kind of things that I'm going to show you and ideas, we're going to be going out to the community soon to get their feedback. And what we want is to understand of what I shared, what do you want us to share with the community? Like we might see 4 options, you will see 5 options. And you might want to pare that down. You might want to have a hybrid of what we show you. So be thinking about as we talk through this, through that lens of what you might want to share with the public. That makes sense? Okay, great. Okay, project goals. Cost efficiency. We know dollars are really important to Dayton. Create a healthy and safe environment for city employees and the public. We're in the library right now, it's sort of unsafe, it's got mold issues happening. Important program synergy, and what this means is looking for ways that if we start to bring some offices or things like that together, how can we actually accommodate them in less space than what the program might say is there, if we're getting dual use of things like bathrooms, elevators, and infrastructure like that. Thinking about a long-term campus solution. So often cities, towns can end up in a mode of just like putting band-aids on things for a while. And we probably still need to do that, but like what is the band-aid we're putting on able to contribute toward a long-term solution? Optimizing what you have. So of the buildings, what are they good at? What can they really accommodate well and helping, letting them do that? Thinking about the public experience, making sure it's clear and accessible. And then ensuring that the community feels heard and is informed throughout the process. And that's that. That's what we're here tonight to do to get ready for that outreach. So the scope of work that we were hired to do is to do building assessment specifically for this building, which we're referring to as the community center, and the annex building that right now Public Works has the maintenance bays and administrations in there. We're asked to develop a building space program, like how much area do you need for the library, city administration, public works, and then we did document, what this space is, the event space, and even asked kind of how much space do you actually need for council.
Did you actually ask staff or a person?
We asked staff.
Thank you.
Yes. And then we develop what we will do is develop conceptual plan layout options. We're not quite there yet. We have some things for you to look at tonight, but this is really, we wanted to get a first hit from all of you, like of these big directions you could go. What do you think is the best direction? So we can focus our efforts towards something that's you'd actually be interested in. And then, what we'll do then is we'll develop a preferred conceptual plan layout once we get that kind of feedback and input. That makes sense. Oh, and the last one, really important, we're gonna get a cost estimate.
I'm gonna fly.
That should have been up on top of the board. The schedule, is kind of like, we started back in May, and it goes all the way through, December this year. And there's a phase that we already did, that's the building assessment and programming. We're in a design phase right now, and this red star is where we're at, right now, at the city council presentation. It's in about a month, on the 28th, we're gonna go to Dayton, Dayton Friday night.
Daytona.
I almost got, I mean, I'm not even that big into racing.
Nice.
Yeah, go to the date Friday night, the 28th. That's where we'll present whatever you guys decide is the right thing. And then, we're gonna continue to refine, we might be meeting with you again, I don't know, Gretchen, but, and I'll certainly following up with you and staff to do some refinement based on what we hear from the community and this group. There will be, then this is the estimating period, and a time for you all to kind of, explore some funding, direction. But really the important thing is developing a cost, and then we'll put together a report for you. So you'll have your preferred option and a cost associated with that. Okay. Again, the assessment, this is a aerial view looking down on your campus. We're in this building over here. Graphically, because it's 2 stories, we represented it like this. So the blue is on top, the orange is on the bottom, and that's the community center and the event space. And then this is the annex building, obviously over here, City Hall, that right now has the library in it. And then we mark this as the Public Works trailer, because there are people in there, right? And it kind of contributes to things. What we did is we assumed that we would not be keeping this building and occupying this building. The one that's got all the mold in it right now and was having issues before already. That might be the wrong assumption, but that's the assumption that we've been operating under. And then the annex, and the community center combined, this is important. Combined, they have 13,560 square feet. So that's an important number, so kind of keep that in the back of your mind. It does not count the trailer, which is 510. Yes,
We have a question.
oh, yes.
It's actually for you. Is there any way to get the screen over so that the audience can take a peek at it too, or are they not privy to this particular information? I mean, they're looking at the back of the TV.
Someday we hope to have a TV.
Yeah, but if we were just like angled a little bit, they could scooch over a little and actually see what we're talking about.
Sure, that would be fine.
If it was me sitting there, I'd be like, what's going on on the other side of that screen?
That, can you still see it?
I think almost.
That's better.
Yeah.
Can you guys see that at all?
No.
You can scoot your chairs over a little bit.
We have it in our packets. It's not like we can't see it in our packets, so.
Yeah.
Can you see it now? I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you very much. We can say goodnight.
Thank you.
Great. So what we've done is, there's more in your packets. We actually have a very long and comprehensive assessment that is not in your packets that we can distribute. But I just want to mention a couple of takeaways that are relevant to tonight's conversation. And that is the opportunities that you have with these 2 buildings that we saw through the assessment. So one is that in the annex building where Public Works is in the maintenance space, the maintenance bays are uninsulated. So like if we were thinking about putting offices or something in there, or a library or something like that, not great. Like you're gonna have to, or you can do it, you're gonna have to pay to invest in that building that way. Also, if you strategically think about trying to limit the amount that you renovate in there to 50% or less, that will keep us out of triggering seismic upgrades to the building. They're not necessarily astronomical, but it's something that it would add cost. And then, yeah, okay, those are the 2 big things I just want to point out about this. So it's like, we've been looking at this as potential for renovation as a way to avoid doing more than 50% of the work in here and keeping the maintenance space maintenance. And then in this building, it's, obviously really great, I mean, it's a great community asset, right? So for large gatherings and things like that. You've got this kitchen down here that we understand there's not a lot of utilization of it right now. And that the event space also isn't getting a lot of utilization, but maybe it would at some point, we don't know. So, I think our big thing about this was that there's been recent investment in getting the elevator in here, bathrooms, I mean, recent in our mind, right? And we want to preserve that and make the most of that, in the schemes that we look at. So good updates to this building, it's got some good bones. How can we really utilize it? And then we also understood the council chamber doesn't have to be this big. That it could be smaller, and that might give us an opportunity to capture, a more efficiency with some of the programs we have. Don't read this.
Yeah, I had to get the iPad out for that, because on the paper I was like.
It's like high level, we just broke this down, we went and met with staff and we did a program document. That's, look at what they have, that's current, and then we looked at what ideally they would have now and any future growth. And it was very, very modest, I think, when we were talking to staff, I mean, future growth, it's like maybe we need another desk here. Maybe we can use another little room to meet here. It wasn't a major change for administration. Public Works, really similar, pretty modest in terms of what they would need overall. The program summary for the library, that obviously, if they have to move out of their building, they're looking to expand, they need to expand, they're smaller than they should be. And so we developed a program for them, that would help them grow to a reasonable size, it's still pretty modest. And then we are looking at the event space downstairs. And in the design options, I'll introduce it by starting with a kind of summary of how all that area works out. So, basically what you have now between the community center and the community center and the annex, not counting the library building, right? You have 13,560 square feet. That was that number I mentioned earlier. If you add up the library and those other two programs with their kind of modest, incremental, future looking, like what are we gonna need? 19,357. So that's a shortfall. If you were to say, yeah, let's just do everything that everybody is saying that they need, we're short 5,797 square feet. Huge chunk of that is losing that current library. So the question is, what are some options? How do you move forward? And what we've done is we've developed options that go everything from what is the bare bones, like you've got no money, like what can we do to stop gap and get things okay? And then we went all the way to the other end and said, what if you actually accommodate what everybody is projecting that they're gonna need and do it, right in the long term? And we have a range of options there. Yeah, I'm gonna pause right there for a second. Does anybody have questions about this?
A question, but I do have a comment. And I have a very much performing arts bend in my life, that's kind of who I am. And I think of this space as performing arts space, and think of it as the council chamber. So I just wanted to put that on the table, that we moved in here because of needing to get out of the moldy space and undo things. But I guess my view is that this can be is a beautiful brand new floor. That's the newest thing in this building. Beautiful space for a lot of classes, performing concerts,
Acoustics.
dances. I mean, theater. I really see this space as a diamond, and so, we just need to make the council chamber smaller. It's like, yeah, sure, we can move someone else, but anyway, I want to put that on the table, that when I see,
Their line in the sand.
when I see event space, this is what I want. for an event space, not
Ah,
the space down below is. Not gonna work for my dreams and visions.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I second that, we don't need both
I would
facilities.
Yeah.
Stick us in the basement.
Matt,
Yes, sir.
so did you access the information that Jeremy generated on what it's gonna cost to retrofit the fire bays, the old fire bays, to make them habitable? Because I do believe you got a cost estimate in somewhere in the 200 and some odd $1,000 range to not only seismically retrofit, but there was some structural issues in it as well. So I think that's probably pertinent to the cost.
yeah, can I call a friend?
Yeah,
So
yes,
did you get, are you familiar with that study? That,
yes, the seismic retrofit report.
yes,
Yeah, because we lost sheetrock out of that structure not that long ago.
that's what Don, yeah.
We could all wear hard hats.
Right,
Okay, cool, thank you.
yes, so we have. We also know cost is a really big deal. We don't know what this, whatever we have no idea what this is gonna cost right now. But what we do know is kind of what's happening out in the world right now for different levels of renovation and new construction. We just wanted to share that with you. And then at the risk of you ever trying to hold us to a number or something, we just use these to help you envision a range, a cost range for each of the options, even though that's way premature. So what we have is 3 categories. We have tenant improvement renovation, and that's just a term that means for us in the industry, you're gonna move some walls around, maybe move some doors, maybe get some new carpet, maybe some new lighting. And that can take you from $150 to $250 a square foot. Major renovation is where you're also gonna do some seismic retrofitting. You're gonna put a new roof on maybe. You gotta get a new mechanical system into the building, things like that, right? But you've got a building you're starting with. And that can be from $250 up to $400 or higher, depending on how far you wanna go. But that's, for what we're considering, that's reasonable. And then new construction is about double that, so it's between $800 and $950 a square foot. For if you were gonna build a brand new library, for example, like that's what right now, like Oklahoma County is going through a whole bunch of them, that's about. So we use those, and then on top of that, I always like to go to project costs, not construction costs at this level, because it's all about finding money and you gotta pay the whole project cost. Typically, projects will have a 30% adder that is for soft, we call them soft costs. So it's not the building construction, it's gonna be permits, it's gonna be consultant fees, sometimes it can be land, acquisition costs, legal fees, like all the things that go into doing a project. And so we've added that in so that you can just get a rough wag, if you will, of like how this might compare.
So these figures, these rough estimates don't include that 30%?
Well, no, sorry. These numbers do not include the 30%. That's on top of that. But what we've done in the slides that come, we've taken these costs per square foot, and then we've added the
Oh, good,
30%.
okay, that's what I was looking.
So when you see these slides, this is project cost, not just.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. We knew the first thing you'd be doing is like getting out a calculator. Okay, so it's okay, I'm gonna walk you through the options that we have. I'm gonna spend a little bit on this first one, and then we'll get a rhythm, and we'll just kind of click through the rest. We're calling this option 1A, and it's fit within existing buildings, and this is our least cost option. And what that means is that you're gonna demolish or sell or unburden yourselves or lease out indefinitely, the current building the library is in. Take it off your plate. And we're gonna work entirely just with the annex and what this building has to offer. And the way it would work is that this upper level would be the council chambers and the event space. The lower level would become the library. The current, where city admin is in public works, would become combined. We would try to get folks out of the trailer into this. And it's gonna be a really tight fit, and there's gonna be some stuff, we'd have to figure out some efficiencies. And potentially like maybe another way to cover a couple of vehicles or something. To get everybody to fit in there as the program goes. But the short story is there's some efficiency that we can realize in this by bringing public works and administration. We can look at the spaces in there and be more efficient with it, I guess is the long shot. So, what that would get you, just so you understand the impact on the program, is that, public works would be about 1,900 square feet under what their target is. And I can give you a sense of what that looks like here in a second. The library, if it came down here, would be under its target by 1,800 square feet. And city administration, this is a weird one to count because we're counting the council chamber as a part of it, and we really shouldn't. Because essentially the council chamber stays up here. So it kind of reads like this is all council chamber, and that kind of blows the number up for city admin, but they're really just right sized. In fact, they're gonna have to be pretty efficient to fit in here with public works. And then you lose the event space downstairs to the library. Right, and that is about 3,400 square feet. So if you're willing to give up the event space, and that's why we dashed it in the bottom corner down here, is that you don't have that anymore. It's not in the creek, it's just, you don't have it anymore. It's now occupied by the library, but this becomes the event space of the council. We have some blown up, like enlarged floor plans, they just help visualize that. On the left is the annex building, on the right would be this building with the library on the ground floor, council chambers upstairs. One of the things that you'll want to ask yourself is the kitchen downstairs right now. And the library really needs, like I said, it's short, 1,800 square feet. It could really use as much space down here as it can get. And so it would probably be looking at repurposing the kitchen. And asking the question, like, would we just maybe move some of the equipment out of there? To help, it was a great spot for office, so that's what that would be. And then this would all stay basically like it is now, up here. But it would also become event space, not just council chamber. And then for the ground floor public works and city admin. Basically what we're assuming is that you could build a wall over here and capture more space. And redo kind of a lot of the interior walls in here to be more efficient, to get the public works folks out of the trailers, hopefully. And get everybody together in one space here. And that's a study we have not done yet. And it's gonna have some compromises, like we might not be able to get all the programming we were talking about. But we would not necessarily have to get rid of and move into all the maintenance-based space. And that's where we'd have a little bit of a design valve if you're interested in this, is that we could look at like, what does it mean to, take out 2 bays, accommodate 2 vehicles in a different way out in the yard. And Don, we haven't even talked to you about this yet. As a way to get everybody in there. And is that advantageous, versus being in a trailer, which is not necessarily a long-term fix. Okay, so does everybody have a flavor for that one?
Yeah.
Okay, going faster, you can just flip that, in this building, you put the library up here, and put council chamber downstairs. I already heard about that, so we don't need to spend any time on 1B, I don't think. The only advantage we saw there is that the kitchen could stay in use for that. So, something to consider.
It never really got used that much except on occasion.
Yeah. Let's leave past that. Okay, then this one is saying, this is kind of the middle one. And that is saying, what if you tear down? Oh, I should say, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna hit pros and cons real quick, sorry. One of the things we heard is that the city admin really wants to have a presence, likes having a presence on, Ferry Street for the public.
Yeah.
Okay, that's positive, because they stay in here. It works with the temporary library. The library's gotta move right now, like, and if they came into the downstairs, you've made a move that is part of the permanent solution. And then you can maybe you can get a little bit of revenue out of selling this piece of property at some point. And then the cons are that public works is undersized. If we try to jam everybody in here, right, like, we gotta find a solution. But it's probably the least expensive solution to find, it'll maybe put up something for vehicles than for people. And then the library is undersized for my ideal program, but is larger than what they have now. And then, the kitchen location that I mentioned. All right, I'll hold this better now, okay. Okay, new library, you could tear that down and you could use that spot on Ferry Street for a new library. That would have great public presence. By doing that, you could. This is kind of to test an idea, but it goes against a couple of things. We thought, what if, because it's got the maintenance bays in it, what if you let Public Works have that building, the annex, and you move city administration into this building? And you could flip this, you could keep this as city, as it's a little different than what we're showing here, it's the opposite, but based on what you already said. You could put the event space up here. And you put city admin offices all downstairs.
I need to ask the staff how you feel about library and city admin and public works all being separate. Is that an issue? Does that pose problems? Or you're not gonna tell us right now?
My only concern is when we're in the bays and we're working, we make a lot of noise. So I know at times Ricky's come out and asked us to stop what we're doing so that they can hear somebody on the phone.
That's a good thing to know. Yes, yes.
This might be old, but City Hall helped out at the library a lot. Separating City Hall from the library, would that be inconvenient? I mean, is some of that going on still?
We're separate now. We're the only people in the building, so we work by ourselves in the building.
Before that happened, was there crossovers, like, did you go help at City Hall sometimes? And if you were unavailable, City Hall came in and helped out in the library?
Occasionally, but it wasn't.
Anything, but, okay.
Yeah, so we are by ourselves in the building right now, in the library, so it would be nice to have. You know, if we were talking about downstairs or something, to have that kitchen space where we could have locking doors, so. It feels safer for us, so.
Thank you.
The way the numbers look out on this is that Public Works, if they took over this whole building, they're actually about 550 square feet over the projected program. Not a lot, but it's comfortable. The library is gonna be right on target because we're gonna be able to build a new building for that. The event space is obviously what it is now. So that's on target. And then city admin would be a little tight downstairs. We'd have to look for some efficiencies. It's a little bit tighter, because, you know, you've got the elevator and the stairs and the bathrooms and all that stuff. But it'd still be we think it'd be a good fit. I think we can easily get to that balance very.
You were just discussing admin downstairs. Upstairs storage
It's
space.
this, it'd be council and event space. Again, the kitchen, not great, but
Got
and I'm only saying that, we drew this the other way. Okay, I'm saying that because of what I already heard, so you can flip these
Yeah.
in the conversation, right? Okay. Can you go to the next one? And then, yeah, the form is very simple. It's like you almost didn't have problems, but Public Works takes over that whole building. And then, yeah, council chambers, would be, well, that's right. But the reason we were thinking administration could go up here, is because you could have council chamber associated with it. But, based on what I was hearing, it's gonna make more sense, I think, to have the offices downstairs, council of your event space, and then you'll have that direct proximity between the two. And we didn't know if that was a big deal. I mean, right now you have to walk across the grass to get over here, if that was an advantage of protocol. Okay, and then, another version of that is what if you brought the library over here, which you're about to do anyway, right? You know, and then, tore down that building and built a new, city administration building. And that could have just a perfectly right sized city hall in it, or you could keep, city hall, city council, or you could just keep city council over here in this chamber. And if you're trying to do it at little expense, then you would keep city council. Does that all make sense? So it's really just saying, is that a library or city, city admin? A lot harder to fundraise your city admin. And then the last one, was kind of maximizing that synergy between programs. And so what we were suggesting is that, and this is the most expensive, but what it's saying is, what if you were to demolish that, let Public Works have this, but then you actually consider doing an addition onto this building that could go out that way. And that would give you enough space that you could aggregate council and event space, city admin, and the library at its full build out size. So this was kind of like, what if you want to have it all? And you know, plan for then, and we could be doing things now, like bringing the library over here that could presage, you know, a big future plan of maybe doing an addition to this building. It's in a good, the way it's laid out is pretty good for that. It's got the entry and the elevator would kind of end up in the middle of it. And you know, all kinds of options, whether you wanted to do a, you know, 2-story library or 1-story library, or you could, there's all kinds of ways you could sort it out. But that was that, yes.
I have a question. It seems like option 2A is very similar to that because you're rebuilding the library.
Yes,
So option 3, you're building the library on this property. And option 2A, you're building the library on the demolished. property.
100%, very similar. I think the difference is, this one takes advantage of being on ferry.
Yeah.
And can be a 1-story, you know, it's just a standalone building, purpose built for just that. But
It
if
could
not,
be 2 stories.
it could be, yeah. The advantage we saw in doing this one and presenting it to you for discussion. Is there an advantage to having the library connected in the same building as this event space? And City Hall? Like, I don't know, I mean, I could imagine, I mean, there could be some meeting rooms in the library, could City Hall staff go to use a meeting room, like, that's the synergy part, like, could there be, essentially, you might be able to build a smaller addition and get the same, I took Thomas. And we also just noted, like, this parking lot is really gracious and it doesn't have the Ferry Street presence, but it's really easy for people that are driving here. They have a whole parking lot, they can pull out, like, if you're gonna come to City Hall, you're gonna come to the library, you're gonna come for a council meeting. It's all really, it's right there on that parking lot, so that's why we thought the synergy of those. Okay, these are all small for you to see probably from here, but it's the summary of those 5 options. And I think we were really interested, first I want to do a time check, because I want to see if we're okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So if you guys have questions, it's really open format now for a dialogue. With the question being, what of any of these should we consider taking out to the community at the community event?
I do like the idea of adding on to this building with the library, and keeping the event space here. The community is, I looked into it last year as far as usage. We were trying to find ways to get the community out here to use it more. And I've heard in the community that this is a space for them, they'd hate to see it go, yet there wasn't a lot of usage. I think having the library attached to this would draw more attention here, and I think just by that nature would increase the usage of the event center. I mean, I like that one.
You know, I like the idea of the library with this space. You can do receptions, you can do, you know, because libraries are another place to not just hang out, but also to,
Program.
yes, you know, the musical, you know, I'm gonna keep throwing that in there. But, you know, I mean, it does really blend nice in.
Counselor Matthews.
Having summer reading connected to the library is a really good thing. However, I would have the kids come here, it's not as visible. I would like to see if we could keep it on Ferry Street, have everything up there, easier to get to, more visible. You're kind of hidden back here from the main part of the street. It could get to be an issue at some point. But yeah, we need to keep the library connected with the event space if we can.
I respectfully disagree, because if we did some good signage on Ferry Street, we could get people to this library.
Oh,
And it's only a half a block down, and there's more parking here,
well, yeah, there is parking, because none of the rest. of
because
this
there's no
talked
parking
about
at the
parking.
library on Ferry Street.
Yeah, and none of this did talk about parking, because there's not a whole lot of parking before the city hall either. I like this parking lot. I'm a little more concerned about visibility, not just, once you leave Ferry Street, you're not as well seen. And if a kid is walking by themselves, between Ferry Street from here, maybe something could go wrong.
But yeah, let me, because Counselor Hofer wants to say something, but I do want to say something, since this is a whole big campus, we might be able to create a pathway.
Wait, yeah,
So this is sort of pie in the sky stuff, where we're just, we have a study in front of us, we're thinking about it, but truthfully. We don't have the money to do any of these projects at this current time, and so I'm assuming we're trying to generate grants to do things like that to help us through this project.
Gretchen's looking at some ways.
Yeah, that's good, so maybe. I mean, deciding what the public will see is important, but deciding what we want really is gonna be determined on what kind of finances we have access to, so. Personally, I think we should tear down a couple of things and start brand new, but I think that'd be more than $11 million or 13 or whatever, so.
Well, I honestly don't want to lose any of our
No, not
Ferry
this
Street
space,
frontage
yeah.
at all. I think the
But
city
you
should
buy
have some
solar
sort of space.
and
up
putting
front.
something up there would be good.
City. Yes, I'm so
I
sorry.
was gonna say the same thing he said, that we could
Oh.
probably build a walking path.
Yeah, and I think that would actually add some extra, you could make it green with plants and shaded, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't have to get wet, and a lot of different things you could do with that.
Maybe even tie it into the trail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Build
exactly.
intersection stops.
exactly.
Put a driveway through the city.
educational planning.
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea and a good way to do it, but I don't think we should lose our Ferry Street frontage.
Yeah.
That's just my own personal opinion, and I would never sell that. I mean. I would demolish the building and hang on to the property until it's something we can utilize maybe at a later date, but I would. Unless we're like in deep doo-doo, I wouldn't sell it because it's an asset, it's prime Ferry Street.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't it donated by Mary Gilkey?
Yes,
that was, yes.
with the understanding there'd be library there.
Yeah,
So
now
there's that.
apparently that was urban legend, but it's a good one to go with. Yeah, we have to have the library there. Mary Gilkey herself said so.
Well,
I heard it.
The beautiful.
She's gonna haunt us if we
So,
don't.
yeah.
It's not gonna have a library.
It's not full blown urban, that's another thing.
Now, quick
Just
question.
on the street.
I thought it was City Hall that was moldy and about to fall down. I thought the library was separate and enclosed. Has something changed?
We share air.
Huh?
The air
Sure.
floats around and when you walk in, you immediately
I
smell
thought
it.
that
It's very
Yeah,
pungent.
I mean, there's a door, but it's a vapor, it goes underneath and around and it's, yeah,
okay.
it's not as as you go in.
There's mold in the basement with all.
Yeah, was it City Hall? Are we talking about tearing down City Hall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would like to also mention that we don't have HVAC anymore, so right now we have window air conditioning, but
Yeah, I
once it
saw.
gets winter, we won't have heat.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
The annex doesn't have HVAC.
Or it broke and it was not going to be replaced.
Oh, the annex.
It's too ancient to be replaced.
No, yeah.
Train should be repaired, yeah, it was like $11,000.
Oh, we're talking, oh no, we're just.
The library.
Yeah.
I do, instead of talking about all the options, let's pick either all of them or three of them that we can put out to the public.
Point of clarification, do we have a short-term plan for moving the library at this point in time? Can we review that real quick? Because I think that also impacts this, because I think sometimes I look at some of these options as more, okay, short-term, medium-term versus long-term, like. I love option 3 personally, but I'm looking at that on like a half decade longer than the rest of them. You know, it's just a lot more difficult, it's more expensive, and so I think as part of this conversation, I think. Full awareness on what the short-term plan is gonna be very important in deciding where we go forward with it, because it could highlight or, you know, make that certain options less ideal based off of what our near-term solutions might be.
Well, we didn't want to make any near-term solution without hearing from you. So everything about this conversation is going to inform the near-term solution.
Perfect.
And
Because there is no solution.
CCRLS coming out in a week.
On the 20th.
Okay, 2 weeks, to talk about, you know, what the options might be from a technology standpoint, because there's also some limitations with respect to the cabinets and, you know, where we can put things because of sprinklers, and so we have to kind of work through those things and hear from you before we come up with a plan.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So in some ways, we're looking at all of these options in as, you know, we can look at some of the short-term options and others as well.
It's one big
Further
vacuum.
through.
One big
That
vacuum.
sounds great. So, I mean, personal opinion, I'd be in favor of looking at something like 1A for, you know, short-term, near-term.
I like
And then-
that two-way, but
2A one, yeah, and then, you know, option 3 as what I want to pursue as a long-term goal.
the goal is to put it out towards the public so the
Yeah,
public can ultimately have input and say in
Yeah,
what we're gonna be spending their money on.
one of the things we have to be really careful of is just perspective on costs. You know, like if we're really crunching pennies on our budget like we were this year, and we're looking at an $8.5 to $11.3 million project. How much was the bridge for $4 million? Out of curiosity?
I don't know.
It was-
You know, how much the bridge was last
Started at
time?
20
and then it went up to
23,
8.
was it 23 or
But I
25
was done,
billion?
Yeah,
yeah, it ended up around 8.
and right, so,
Yeah, yeah.
this is at minimum another bridge project.
So,
You're gonna take a vote.
It does feel like 1A is a pretty good short-term plan.
mhm.
Get the library in this building downstairs. Admin is already where it is.
Yeah,
I don't know, create some carports or something for public works to cram in there. But,
Well,
um,
I think we should do everything through 2B and just leave the building a new library and all the rest of that for another day. If we're gonna put it out. to the
so 1A, 1B, and 2A and 2B. Didn't we do it?
no,
Didn't 2B, that was a new admin building in 2B.
No, 3 is been, you know. 3 is a built, a new build, but.
well, 2 has building for city halls.
No, 2B, option 2B is a new city hall.
Mhm. Yeah, so up to, I wouldn't present option 3, I would just present everything else as, if it was, I'm just saying, putting that out as me, not everybody else, but me.
All right, you wanna take a vote? Anybody else got any suggestions?
We're saying,
Counselor Hoover is suggesting all of them minus the last most expensive.
Personally.
Yeah.
You're good with that?
I'm good with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess there's a little bit of me that it's fun to dream about, or to show. To show.
But if we
their
can't
dream.
afford the dream.
Yeah, but I mean. Yeah, but it's like you give them an option, you know.
But then if we can't
Don't-
differ, we're going to.
Wanna go out
there
and
And also the time of presentation, it's gonna be a first Friday, and if we get too much on the table, then we're gonna change. That's a good point.
Personally, I would choose option 3 over option 2A. It's cheaper. Also,
So want to, everything but 2A is what you're saying?
that would be me. That's just my, I like having the library close to the event space.
Yeah, and there's we have the dreamer on this dock of that. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Am I hearing that you are interested in showing 2B, which is the new public works building? I'm sorry, new city admin building? This is 2B, it's the new city hall.
Yes.
We're talking about 2B or not 2B?
I honestly think we should just do all of them except for option 3, but.
Oh, good, well,
Option, cheaper than.
Yeah.
That would be my
sure,
choice.
yeah. Well,
Otherwise,
I think
1A is the least expensive.
if we did everything but 2A, I don't. Or 2,
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. All right. Is
So-
All
that-
right, now,
But to be. As the event space downstairs in the library upstairs.
we would flip it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you flipped
Yeah,
it,
we just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
We would do that for.
I think I'm hearing in all cases, we want to keep this the events.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, then that's,
And I'd just like to say that as a city council member, I don't mind this being a foldable setup, so we can have this whole space and then just shut everything in the closet while we're.
Absolutely.
And or having our, whatever we're doing.
Rocio's looking at you like, are you gonna come in a half an hour before the meeting and pull it all out?
yeah, you get,
That'd be the wheel, yeah.
Man, I can barely sit on the wheeled chairs, you're gonna put tables in here too. All right, do we need a motion for this or can we just pick?
We just needed consensus, and I
Okay.
think we have it.
All right, everybody okay with where we're at?
Yeah.
You guys say it back to the consensus.
We've got 1A. 1B. 2B flipped, library on the bottom, and 3. Going to the public on the 28th.
Excellent.
Thank you, that was the decision we needed.
Thank you.
And I think next steps, we can, yeah, we'll be back here on the 28th, for that event. And we'll be working with Gretchen to figure out what meetings to follow with that, and we'll refine those options. I think it'll be interesting to be bringing back to all of you what we heard from the public. Be great. Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thanks, Sophia.
Thanks, yeah.
Really good.
I mean, you think, count that, well, other people might wanna see Keith. Pictures. You're up. Come on up.
Sorry.
Oh. I just took all
Oh, wait, a minute. May I ask a question? So my son and my youngest boy and his significant other work in the alcohol related service industry. You know, they're not bartenders as such, but they have been before.
Yeah.
And there's been, I've noticed in reading some articles about the entire industry, especially the wine industry, being sort of shrinking some.
Mhm.
Due to a
Yeah.
different viewpoint.
Yeah.
How do you think that's really gonna affect us in this region? Because we are so dependent upon the wine industry right here in this local spot.
1 year and it's gonna hit us in the butt.
Yeah, it's already starting to affect the wine industry. We have wine industry professionals here, and I'm sure it's no secret to you that the Oregon Wine Board just came out with a bunch of data. Gosh, was that 2 months ago about the attrition that we're seeing in the wine industry, fewer great contracts, winery facilities closing, ranch shutting down, things like that. It will absolutely affect this area. One of the good things, many good things about Dayton is that you guys are diversified. Things in addition to visiting wineries. So we have other types of alcohol producers here. You have cider, you have whiskey, so that's good. Yeah, absolutely. But you also have a lot of outdoor recreation. There's a ton of cycling here. There's a lot of work being done right now on water trails and activities, which I know you guys are very involved in. So there's lots of different things. We have a very dynamic, public arts scene in Yamhill County, that a lot of counties don't have. And that draws a lot of people from around the state as well. So will it affect Dayton? Absolutely. Are there other things that we can sort of push the visitor economy towards so that you guys don't feel that as much as other communities like Newburgh or McMinnville might? Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great question.
Thank you.
Where do they work? Where do they work?
And Ben,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and there's been a steep decline there.
Mhm.
Because they're networking with a lot of different places, you know, because that type of crowd tends to be a nomadic in their existence, so their opportunities have shrunk enormously over the last year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question.
It's in our packets if you wanted to. Never mind.
There we go.
Awesome. I assume that this probably won't work on the PDF. It would, yeah, I'll just tell you to scroll. Yeah. That's great. Well, I'll just get started with introducing myself. I've met many of you, but there's a few new faces. I'm Kitri Culbertson. I am the owner and principal of Suburban Communications based out of McMinnville. There it is. I'm a native Oregonian. I grew up not too many miles down the road in the blueberry farms between Salem and Silverton. I did go to college at Linfield and I'm now an adjunct professor of marketing there. So I just can't quit Yamhill County. It just keeps calling me. I moved my family there about a dozen years ago to McMinnville. And that's where I met Dave Rucklos actually, when he was the Downtown Association Director. And I was one of the principals at Visit McMinnville. And we worked together on a lot of projects, brought a lot of grant money into the community to benefit the local businesses in downtown. I like to think of myself as very community focused. I am on the executive committee of the Library Foundation of McMinnville. I founded the TEDx Talks in McMinnville. And I have two boys that I'm raising in the community as well. So, baseball season just got over and I'm delighted, but I'll be ready for it next spring. I work with a lot of local companies, a lot of people in the beverage industry. That is primarily my background. I spent 8 years working in the wine industry at Solblosser Winery just up the road, Dayton Winery. Although everybody liked to think at the time of it being a Dundee winery, and I always corrected them. But I do work with a variety of different municipalities as well. In addition to working with Dayton, in the past, I've worked for the city of McMinnville, the Yamhill Downtown Association, the city of Redmond, and a little bit of work with the city of Scottsboro as well. All right, I want to talk a little bit about why the visitor economy matters. You are all very educated on this. I think this is the third year that I've come to talk to you about why the visitor economy matters to local businesses, so we know this. But I did want to point out that visitor spending is very important. So in 2025, $191 million was spent by visitors within Yamhill County. So these are people who have traveled to this area from 50 or more miles away. So that's not even the people who come in for day trips from Salem, for example. This would be people coming from Eugene or Bend or further afield. A lot of those visitors come for our world-renowned wines, and we're very lucky in Dayton that we have a wide variety of options for them in addition to wine. Visitor spending creates jobs. So there were the equivalent of 2,000 full-time employed people in positions generated by travel spending. Now that's full-time jobs. There's a lot of jobs in the hospitality industry that are not full-time, and for good reason too. There's a lot of people who need part-time employment or weekend employment, secondary employment, things like that. So the hospitality provides a lot of flexibility for workers. And 2 years ago, the hospitality industry in general, that includes people who work in hospitality at wineries, was the fourth largest industry in the county. There's also a significant amount of earnings that happen from those jobs. And then of course, visitor spending funds tax revenue. So transient lodging tax is a really great thing for communities. It's a tax on people who don't live here. It's people who stay overnight in our lodging facilities. So this generates revenue for our communities without that burden being on the community. And yet the visitor spending that happens from those people directly benefits our friends and neighbors who own and work in small businesses here. I just wanted to talk really quickly about how we got to our most recent campaign, what we've been doing to push it forward over the last 6 months, and then what's on the horizon. So you can, yeah. First, I wanted to talk a little bit about community input. So in 2023, there was a redevelopment survey that went out to community members. It was really great to get as much involvement as we did from the local community. And what was really interesting about it is that 77% of the people who took it expressed interest, at the very least, of growing Dayton. So there were different types of growth, growth means different things to different people, but commercial growth, tourism growth, residential growth, industrial growth were the things that people were interested in. And I pulled out a few of the quotes from people from that survey. I'd rather see Dayton thrive. I want to create an inviting place that people want to spend their time in. When Dayton grows, it needs to be a historic ambiance. And I like that because it's just assuming that Dayton is going to grow. It's assuming that we're going to keep the authentic character of the community in mind. And then I love this. Dayton is so promising, make something happen. I love that. One of the quotes that was a little long was from a local woman who said that there's nothing for her kids to do here. And she was concerned that when they grow up, they're going to move away. And she wanted to see Dayton become a thriving place that people want to come back and raise their kids. And an easy path to do that is through visitor economy and that influx of visitor dollars. And yes, that is Rocio in the picture. She was out of stress that day. We also pulled out words that community members used in that survey to build our brand pillars. So from the words that people used in that survey, we sort of brought them down into three primary ways that we wanted to always make sure that we were thinking about data. So this is gonna inform how we showcase Dayton, how we, in our creative, in our images, in our videography, it's going to be a big part of how we talk about Dayton when we invite the media here. We're gonna say Dayton is honest, trustworthy, down to earth and authentic, like talking to an old friend. Dayton can be informative to new people who come here. Dayton is knowledgeable, savvy, and experienced, like sharing your mom's recipes. And Dayton is welcoming. It's friendly, charming, and easygoing, like visiting your own hometown. So keeping those things in mind, you can keep scrolling. This is a little hard to see here, but you have it in your packets. We use that community input to build brand pillars. And then we married that with market opportunities. What are the trends and consumer insights that we know as industry professionals? What are the gaps that other regional communities don't have that Dayton can fill? From those, we built target audiences. Who are the people that fit those gaps, that they're looking for those opportunities? And that also align with those brand pillars. So they see something in Dayton emotionally that draws them to this community. Then we take those differences, this community differentiation, and we build a creative campaign out of it. So about a year ago, we presented our brand new campaign, which was All Eyes on Dayton. One of the reasons we chose this particular slogan was we wanted to make sure that people were watching the growth that was coming to Dayton. Giving them a reason to come to Dayton now, but also come back. There's more to see. This message also reaches not just potential visitors, but other regional business owners who might be thinking of relocating a business here. You need to keep your eyes on Dayton. Things are happening there. You can scroll ahead. Here's some of the other ads that we used. This, I don't know if you guys know Melissa, but that's Juan's daughter from Juanita's. She's very sweet and she works at the Willamette Valley Visitors Association. So whenever we do new campaigns, we always run them by her for a few different reasons. She's very savvy, she's very smart, she knows Dayton very well, and we can kind of up-level what we're doing with insights from a broader organization. So it's great. So we've talked about some of these things that we've done before, but we went after and received a grant from Travel Oregon to build this campaign, get quality photography and other creative assets, place ads like the billboard that you guys saw in Newburgh, as well as draw media attendees here. We built the website. We manage the social media with those dollars. We get new and interesting photography all the time with those dollars. We also hosted an event for the Dayton businesses to make sure that they knew that the city is out here representing you guys, you know, to a very broad audience, and it was very well received.
That billboard's no longer up.
No, we had it for, I think, 3 months total. Billboard advertising is very expensive. And we got a good grant, but it wasn't that good. So recently, what we've been up to. So this spring, we welcomed a very large media group from all over the United States, actually, to join us at the Oregon Chardonnay celebration. So that's a big event that takes place in Newburgh at the Allison, but working together with the Yamhill County Tourism Partnership, we made sure that that group visited a lot of separate communities in Yamhill County so they could tell a more holistic story. So that's the big group at Loam for breakfast. We hosted a big brunch. And got to educate everybody on what makes Dayton so special. They loved the downtown, and at the time, Seder Fire was in their build out, so they got to like peek in and see what was going on. And get a sense that big things are coming. We also had a lovely dinner at the Joel Palmer House. The woman there who's having a very large bottle poured for her is Hannah Wallace, and she is a great regional writer. Who writes for Forbes and Seattle Monthly. I mean, a lot of different publications, so it was great. She got a very wonderful Dayton experience and got to stay at the Inn of Dayton as well. So, yeah. Dayton Wine Trail map, very proud of this one. This is very fun. This was built because we wanted to do two things. We wanted to make sure that people who were in downtown knew about the world-class wineries that are just up the hill. And we wanted to make sure that people from around the world who are visiting those world-class wineries know how easy it is to get into downtown Dayton and support the local restaurants and businesses here. This is actually hot off the presses. We went through our initial round of 1,200 maps very quickly. We distributed them to all the wineries on the hill and encouraged them to send people into downtown Dayton whenever they had guests wondering what to do next. And we just got a reprint with some new additions to it, so feel pretty great about that. We've also been doing a significant amount of support for downtown Dayton, and I'm really glad that there's representatives here from that committee. We provided some funding for data collection, which we were just starting to talk about when the meeting kicked off. We placed ads in the Oregon Wine Press, encouraging people to come out. We just finished a great video that will be posted this week that we're gonna put some dollars to boost to get people to come out for Dayton Friday nights and experience everything that Dayton has to offer, as well as placing additional social advertising to get people from the region into downtown. In addition to those things that are a little forward facing, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. So I mentioned the Yamhill County Tourism Partnership. That's an organization, very informal, that meets once a month, and its representatives in the tourism industry from Carlton and McMinnville and Newburgh, and we share ideas and put together things that individually our small communities wouldn't be able to accomplish. So that Oregon Chardonnay celebration, huge national media group, that was a program that was built from collaboration that happened within that group. So by attending those meetings, not only am I able to up-level the ideas that Dayton has, but I'm able to also bring ideas back from Travel Oregon and the Willamette Valley Visitors Association. We also helped to build a county recreation map. So there's a few recreation maps that Travel Oregon helps to fund, and through collaboration with that group, we were able to build a Yamhill County recreation map. So making sure that all of our safe cycling trails are mentioned in there, regional hiking trails, things like that. So I made sure that there was quality photography of Dayton in there and things like that. We've been supporting some city initiatives. So Cindy's been working really hard on a few initiatives, as well as up-leveling the city logo. We've gotten photography, written and videography assets. We just finished that new video, which I'm really excited to show you guys later this week. And then we've been doing ongoing support with the website and social media, in addition to responding to media inquiries and things like that.
This picture is kind of, it's John and Capo, and they're both gone now, but missed. This is a lot, and it just kind of struck, I saw it.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. This photo was taken 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, that was terrible.
So what's coming up? In addition to the ongoing social media and website, in addition to making sure that Dayton's represented at higher levels of the tourism ecosphere, We are increasing our social media presence. We are investing in some Google advertising, so things with AI are changing very quickly, and we want to make sure that no matter what our, when people are, you know, going to plot or grok or chat or whatever
Whatever
your
the thing is.
thing is, that Dayton comes up as where should I go next in one country? We'll be doing some promotions of local businesses and events, so this week I'm meeting, bringing up Seder Fire again, but I'm meeting with Paul and Barbara to talk about ways that we can work together to make sure that they're getting visitation into their new business. We're also working with the Yamhill County Tourism Partnership to bring in a fall PR trip. So we call those FAM tours, familiarization tours. And that's actually in conjunction with Juana's daughter's event that she is starting to throw, the Latino Winemakers of Oregon event that will be taking place. So we're working with their PR team to make sure that some of their media guests are staying at the Inn at Dayton, and that we're sponsoring breakfasts at Lowe, things like that, lunches at Camino, that kind of thing. We took some great videography last year at the tree lighting and holiday events, so we'll be utilizing those creative assets to make sure that people are coming here in the shoulder and off season. We get a lot of attention during the summer months, as you might expect, but drawing people here in the winter months is also very important. So we'll be putting some dollars behind social promotion of those assets. And then ongoing partnerships and collaborations. You can scroll ahead, the next one. Yeah. So this is impossible to read from here, but I just wanted to remind everybody here about how important the tourism ecosystem is in this area. Smaller communities like Dayton and Carlton and Yamhill alone don't make a huge difference in the number of people that are coming here, but working together to promote Yamhill County as a whole and Dayton as a part of that overall experience for visitors is very important. So I work very closely with Lee Jensen, who's the executive director of Taste Newburgh, Dan Gibson, who's the CEO of Visit McMinnville, and then other businesses like the Solar Wine Group, to make sure that we are aware of what the opportunities are and can harness those. So when Michelle has media groups that are coming to town and she's like, quick, what's going on in Dayton? I'm right there. And I'm like, this is what's happening. This is what you need to know about. These are the new businesses. These are the older businesses that maybe need a little love. We work together because visitors don't just stop at city limits. They go and they explore. And if we are seen as collaborative players with some of these other big folks in the industry, we can benefit and sort of siphon off some of their guests to get their visitor spending into our businesses. So there we go.
Excellent.
That was taken the same night actually as the photo that you pulled up. One thing I did want to point out before we open up with questions is things that are a little bit different in this presentation than in previous summers. When Dave originally brought me on, it was because of my experience in marketing, branding, advertising, and the visitor economy. I'd been working in it for almost a decade at that point. And when Dave retired, like a jerk, we gave Jeremy a few options of how we should kind of keep the wheels on this marketing engine. We gave him a few options. One was I become Dave Jr. because I look just like him. And
You still got your hair.
And I do more of that higher end strategy, budgeting, more community involvement, that kind of thing. But the choice was made to sort of keep me at the level that I was at when Dave was still here. So what that looks like is all the things that I mentioned, sort of keeping the marketing wheels on, keeping the engine churning, making sure that Dayton's needs are up leveled and that opportunities are coming back down. but there has been, I think, a little bit of confusion in the community thinking that I am Dave Junior. Because we look so much alike. So one of the things that I would love for council to consider over the next however long is what does the future of the visitor economy and that investment in this programming look like for you guys? Keeping the marketing wheels on is certainly one thing we could do. One of the goals that Jeremy had at the time was, could we over time, basically work me out of a job, but in the meantime, build a, destination marketing organization. So a Taste Newburgh, a Visit McMinnville sort of organization that has a board of community members, city staff, coming together to build what the future of the visitor economy looks like. So there's a few different ways that you can do that as a community. Keeping a full-time staff person like a Dave on, having a vendor like me come in and do those services, or eventually having an organization that is only quasi-governmental, manage that with the insight of businesses. So just things to consider as we move forward. I'll be keeping the wheels on in the meantime. But do you guys have any questions? I feel like I've been talking to awful.
I'm just curious,
Yeah.
because you have your hands on so many different pulses around.
Mhm.
Do you have a feel for what's out there in the way of grant money and how, and directing people in that direction?
I do, actually. That's one of the things I do most often outside of economic development and marketing consulting is applying for grants. For this type of thing, the majority of the grants come from organizations that are up the chain. So Travel Oregon, the Willamette Valley Visitors Association, things like that. If we can give a really great project that proves that it's going to draw people into the community to spend money, they're very keen to fund it.
So you're grant writing as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do a lot of
That's
that.
nice. That's actually a very, very helpful thing.
Are you done? I don't either, I'm
Sorry.
sorry, no.
Waiting.
I've got like
Gotta
a
stand
million
on
pulse. Right there, so.
They said,
Ready, okay. So, first things first, when you mentioned data collection earlier, would it be possible to receive reports on whether it's like year to date or, the last 12 months? Just looking at past on whether it's ads like impressions, and, where they're targeted, what performs the highest. Social media, kind of the same thing, how many views, what the view counts look like from post to post, and like what topics seem to resonate the most. I'd be really interested in that because I think we're there's kind of a two-pronged piece of this, right? There's what's the like local populace pay attention to, and then what's also visitation and what do they pay attention to? Because I think about like the community, and the most popular thing I've seen, and I think this may have been a collaboration between you and Dave, was the interview with Juanita.
Yeah.
So that took the whole community by storm, and it was incredible, and it was really relatable. I think all the pillars that you mentioned, it touched on every single one of those. But then like somebody visiting from out of town, like they're not gonna what Miss Juanita is, but they might resonate more with like something from the Inn of Dayton or something like that. So kind of those like multi-pronged approaches of making sure that we capture like the local community, but also the visitation. I'd be curious how that resonates in like the view counts, the impressions, things like that. So I'd be really interested to see if there could be a report, whether and completely your jurisdiction on like 6 months, a year, what kind of the best date range would be for something like that. But I think that would be really cool, really helpful for us too, from a policy making standpoint on, okay, what does the data show? So that's part one of what I'm talking about. And then part two, so Taste Newburgh was something that you mentioned just a second ago. I'd be curious, what do other small towns look like? Because like Newburgh and McMinnville, for example, I think it's kind of an apples to oranges when it comes to them versus Dayton. But like, Lafayette or Amity or, even Carlton, Yamhill, like I'd be curious to see how those towns are built out by comparison, because that might be more of an apples to apples, like, okay, we can use some of these as models or something we could do, whereas a larger town, may not be able to. So I'll get off my soapbox for a second if you'd like to address that.
Yeah, I would. So many things. I should have been writing it down.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Bill reminds you.
Yep.
Part one of your comment,
Yes.
I'm a total data nerd. And my personal take on marketing is that it is essentially just data wrapped in a pretty bow. So when you take data and you marry it with really high quality art, essentially. So well-written words, beautiful photography, stunning videography. And you marry that with who is most likely to see and resonate with this piece of art. The goal is that it creates an emotional reaction so strong that someone takes the action that you want them to take. And that sounds maybe manipulative.
Science.
But like anything, there's a light side and a dark side. Marketing can be used for propaganda, and it can also be used to educate people in public programs. Come to the library. We've got this wonderful thing that's happening, and it can convince you to take an action that you want them to take. But it can't be effective if you do what I call a shotgun approach. If you just create something and hope it hits. I like to use more of a rifle approach, that's a little violent for the current situation, but more of a targeted approach, where if we can take really strong data and say, okay, I know that this type of person is seeking this type of thing, and we're gonna show that to them. We can do all of that with advertising tools. Part 1B of your comment. I used to create monthly reports for Jeremy that had all of our marketing data, and I would love to send those to anybody who wants to see, like, is this the information that is useful to you? What do you want to see? There's a lot of sort of what I call marketing by high fives in this industry, which is like, me meeting with the media and things like that aren't necessarily data driven, but still important. But I can list those out for you guys, so you know who's talking about Dayton and who is likely to visit. That'll help you guys make informed decisions about how do we draw the right businesses to this community? What are the programs that we need to invest in that are attractive to people from out of town? What days of the week do we hold them on? What seasons do we hold them on when people are most likely to visit? That's stuff that we have data for, and I'd be happy to share.
That would be awesome.
Okay,
Cool.
now what was part 2?
So part 2
Yeah.
was the Tasty Newburgh example, and kind of what are comparative small towns doing, rather than kind of the more mid-size concepts.
Absolutely. In Yamhill County, it's really, I could bear on this for a long time, which is why I'm like leaving it. In Yamhill County, it's really interesting. Carlton is probably your closest comparison. However, they have just an all volunteer tourism group called Visit Carlton, and it's local well-meaning business owners. What happens with that is you have local well-meaning business owners who then get, tied up in their own businesses, or their business closes, or they run out of steam, or their kid graduates, and you don't have consistency in your efforts. Communities like Yamhill, for example, or Lafayette, they don't have any lodging really to speak of other than few Airbnbs funding that. So they have very limited dollars on what they can do. Even if they do have really great tourism assets, they have a hard time promoting them. Dayton is really in a great spot because you have strong lodging. Yeah. You guys have strong lodging, the vintages, and now the Inn at Dayton, and new things potentially on the horizon. That is gonna draw a lot of potential funding into the community, both into the city's coffers, but also into that sort of tourism engine where you can spend those dollars on promotion to draw more people in, who spend more money and stay more nights to then fund more TLT, and the cycle continues. So Dayton's in a great spot. also, what we were talking about earlier is diversification. Dayton has a lot that you can do with, diversifying, I don't wanna say from the wine industry, but in addition to the wine industry. Dave and I used to call it wine plus. So people are coming here most likely for the wine industry. How can we get them to stay an extra day or two to cycle a trail? To go to an art program, to do anything? Yeah.
Kayak, olive oil.
We want them
Exactly.
to, we want them to hike.
I mean, so that wine plus, how do we get people to stay an extra day? Is, you guys have that, and
Yes.
we can promote it, and not a lot of communities have that.
So honing in on the Carlton example, so the businesses drove the creation of that more than anything else. Fair. But is that correct? Is that the businesses kind of drove that visit
Yes.
aspect? And, but that's separate from the Main Street program and work in tandem.
Yes, my understanding is that they work with Amy Anderson there in the city to partner with the Main Street program, so they are kind of a conglomeration of visitation of downtown services, whereas in Dayton, you have that a little bit more separate, like Newburgh and McMinnville do.
Gotcha.
Which I think is a good thing, because the Downtown Association can focus on promoting the businesses in the downtown, both within the downtown and outside, as well as, well, and then your tourism organization can focus on, okay, how do we draw people in? What is the public representation of the community that we are using to make sure that people come here and spend money?
Cool.
And the Downtown Association can focus on what you guys do really well. So,
Cool.
yeah, so then it's your question.
It does.
Okay.
So my third and final.
Oh my God.
So.
With DoorDash.
I know. Hey, get some Starbucks.
No, we still have an executive.
I know. So, but I think this is really good. I think this is really healthy. So the last piece, and I'm gonna hopefully try to message this the right way. So as somebody in the wine industry, like, we are very hyper focused on like trying to capture the tourism side of it, but also do justice to the local, region that we're in, the town, county, whatever, kind of, descriptor we want to use in that capacity. And so, with Dayton, there's definitely been this this vocalization of we're more than just wine, which resonates a lot because, I hear that a lot in the profession that I'm in. And so, I think that so far, I was just perusing Instagram, the Discover Dayton page a few minutes ago, and I see this really great balance of, okay, there's a couple wine posts, then there's the horse-drawn carriage, and then there's the dancing in the park, and there's so much more in the bicycling in the streets. That there's so much more than just the wine aspect of this. And I think the only thing that I would want to comment on in that capacity is just ensuring that the balance is there. Because, yes, we absolutely need the wine side of things because of just the immense behemoth it is of tourism, but not forgetting the roots as well. And so I wanted to say I really appreciated that balance that I'm seeing. But also like, the only thing that jumped out at me was like the emerging gem of Dayton piece of that. Dayton's always been a gem. It's not just becoming one right now, it's always been one. And so just ensuring that we do that justice to the history, as well as being excited about, okay, these are the cool new things. That's the only commentary that I've heard that I wanted to take this opportunity to vocalize. We do, no, we
It's
really
free.
do, but
We got recreation, we got wines, we
Yeah.
got food.
But like we're hearing with the Old Timers Parade, for example, it's like, okay, don't forget your roots, don't forget your history, you've got to do justice to where you came from. You can be excited for the cool new, shiny rock,
But don't forget about the old.
but don't forget, about how you were raised and where you came from and all that. So just making sure that we value that as much as the wine side of things.
I love that, and I think there's ways that we can also marry the two. So one of the markets that we go after too is wine country family travel. So there is not a community in Yamaha County that I am aware of that focuses on family travel for wine country. And we worked with a few writers to do stories on exactly that. The family afternoons at Stoller, the park down here, so the parents can sit and have, you know, their beverage at Juanita's and sit and watch their kids play. You know, that's, there's ways to marry the two and reach new audiences in ways that I think feel authentic. That being said, I think recreation is an untapped resource for you guys. Yeah, I had a meeting a few weeks ago with Philip Higgins of Cycle Yamhill County. Many of you probably know Philip. He's a real estate developer and just a very energetic dude. But he is very, very keen on making sure that Dayton is a hub for cycling. Because you have this park asset right in the middle of town where people can use the restroom, fill up their water, you know.
But don't eat it alone, then utilize the business.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If people were to start and end their cycling route in Dayton, what would that look like? Could we get bicycle repair stations in the park? Things like that. So those conversations are happening and will happen a lot more, I think, too, with the Dayton Landing project as well.
Be nicer if bicycling was more safe around here. It's
Oh,
not, once you get out of the 2 lanes, bicycling, the bicycling nightmare, you get farm
Well,
equipment.
yeah, especially to
I
travel.
I will not ride a.
Yeah, are you a
And I would like
cyclist?
to, all over.
Are you a cyclist?
Yeah, I like bicycle.
Yeah.
And my wife does too, but bicycle sit in the shed most of the time, as soon as you get out of city, I'm going, wow, you run off the road, and everybody's screaming at you and you see the middle finger all day.
Mhm. Well,
But the
maybe
only
with
people
that-
you see out there is elderly, rich, old man on very expensive bike. I don't know.
That's a great conversation for our local commissioner too.
He's like, I'm just listening.
No, it's not safe.
There's a
Yeah.
great bike park going on Banff Creek, about 25 miles.
Heck, yeah.
$1 million on the fund.
What's the EPA on that?
From here.
You have to ask, Cycle Yamhill County.
Cool.
We had a bike trail that was in the works, didn't we? We got shut down.
Cycle Yamhill County.
The one that.
No,
That's all, no, we're not.
Yeah, no, it's gonna go, right?
We're not.
Sorry.
At the
Yeah.
center.
Yeah, the Panther Creek project. is
He's
pretty
stirring the
huge.
pot.
Yeah, the Panther Creek project is worth mentioning though for recreation, because there will be a lot of people who are looking for a quiet place to stay and then going to that facility to utilize what they have going on, so.
We need the boat landing.
Yeah.
We need it today.
Yeah, that would.
We need to invest in ponds around there so we can keep bringing more birds in, because there's a bunch of birds that people love to go
Yeah.
birding around the lagoons, and because the river brings them in.
Yeah.
And they will come and spend their friggin' full day here and then go shop, and so. Plus the recreation, I mean, there's just, it's so exciting.
Well, the bridge connecting downtown to your largest lodging asset is
Yeah.
huge. Is
For
huge, and recreation opportunities around that, should they come forward, would be a huge asset that we could do a lot of promotion around.
Exciting times.
Yeah, any other
all I
questions that I can answer? I know that marketing can be sort of a vague thing, a little bit nebulous. But I'm always here to chat. I've been working my whole career in this, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have offline. Anybody who knows me knows I love coffee, so please invite me to coffee at lunch,
He's my girl.
and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, very much, thank you.
Yeah.
Should we expect to hear from Gretchen or to hear from you directly with regard to the reports?
That's a great question.
Welcome to you, perfect, excellent.
Yeah, I'd love to connect with you about, yeah, how those could be useful.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Right, last shout out, I do want to say a huge thank you to Marcio and Cindy, who have been working really, really hard to help me during this transition and be my connectivity back to the city. They put in a lot of time and energy into making sure that I know what's going on at the city and what the city priorities are. So they deserve a lot of recognition.
They need coffee.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna jump out into council comments and concerns, and we're gonna start with Councilor Harper.
There's been more burning out on the bridge lately. The bridge going out towards Salem. Burning? Burning out, people burning out their tires. Yeah,
Yeah.
making art with their tires on, and I had talked to Jeremy about this a while back, and he had actually agreed to do this, but it has not been done, of mounting cameras on the sewer transfer station, pointing down to the bridge and up the road too. Because Officer Twitchell said that if we have video footage of those guys burning out, then they can go ahead and pursue the offender.
If they have a good view of the license plate.
Right, but if we put cameras there, we can at least ID the car and maybe get the license plate.
Maybe perhaps even putting up the sign, cameras watch.
Yeah, area under surveillance.
Yeah, but Jerry said he was gonna do it, and then it died, so I don't know what happened.
Here's the thing, you probably put up the area under surveillance signs.
No, they have those little kind of.
I know we
infrastructure
don't do
plates.
that, maybe that's
Well,
what,
You have to get it from out.
No, we can get those ourselves,
but I know somebody who.
We don't have any cameras anymore.
but we can purchase them, no?
Is that our road?
$50, you can buy a GoPro.
But is that our
Yeah,
road?
Walmart.
Is that our?
No, but it's our bid.
You can put them on. the
We can put them on
lift
the
station.
transfer station, that belongs.
Yeah, the lift station is ours.
Yeah, so we can
put it on.
absolutely use that, and that's exactly how we get around ODOT's. Stringencies.
Serious question. Could we just put up area under surveillance signs? Because
It's not gonna work, and these guys are bold, I mean, in the middle of the day, they're
just curious, yeah,
I mean, I'm sitting out there at my back dead,
Yeah.
it's nonsense.
that's fair.
And a neighbor who's got an $830,000 house for sale says it's killing him. It's absolutely killing his.
Counselor Hogan, you just need to go out to the side of the road, get your shotgun and stand there, and when you see them, you cock that son of a gun.
Pop up on the rail.
Not an official government recommendation.
But that's a joke.
Yes, it is a joke, of course.
But it's distressing.
It is, yeah, I know,
And I worry about children and people down there.
yeah.
Somebody loses control, there's always somebody walking around.
Yeah.
It's a safety issue.
Yep.
That little section of road is not such.
Well said.
All right. That's all for you
Yeah,
today.
that's it.
I didn't want to shut you down.
It needs to be shut down, we'll start talking about 44 nights.
Councilman Tyco.
Just a couple things, I've heard, from the community a little bit, some concerns on some of the gravelled areas around town, where I don't know if we used to in the past. Fill in some of those edges so they're not so deep of a pothole for people.
Are you talking about in front of the school or where?
Just around town generally, where it's right off the edge of the road. I know property owners are, responsible. But I didn't know if the city public works had like a pile of gravel that every now and then you go. around
ODOT.
and help.
Up there.
I was gonna say,
They said they won't move it, so.
That we could help our community out a little. Yeah, not like big projects, just small little things and I help some things out. One that I noticed and. It might be the property owner's responsibility, but it's right there and I think it would be nice for the city personally. To kind of fill those in by the Pirates Den. I know there's a lot of gatherings that happen out there and it's kind of sketchy when you try to pull for that area. So, it was just something that I had some people mention to me that I wanted to bring up. The other thing is that, me and a couple of the DCPA board members are working on a potential new event. We're going around and we're talking to some community members right now. But we're thinking about putting together a Founder's Day event that would include a parade and kind of, I think personally tie in with our cemetery tour. But it's in the infant stages right now, so I just want to let you guys know we're working.
wouldn't it be better for the coast? The Founder's Day?
No, founders, no founders.
Oh.
Are you think, so we're coordinating the cemetery tour for October 3rd, are you thinking this year?
We'll see. We have some ambitious people right now, so.
Yeah, they're always too ambitious and too. Okay. Thanks. You got anything?
Yeah, we need to discuss tomorrow night. Tomorrow is
Oh.
night out in the park. It's gonna be 93 degrees, so I hope we have lots of water ordered.
More than
Eight
that.
hours for what?
It's gonna be
That
small.
air quality index looks.
Yeah, it's gonna be really smoky and.
It was really bad today too.
I don't know when we discuss that, now, later.
What time? will it be there?
I mean,
It's
we don't have any
from 5 to 7, so we need to be there maybe a half an hour before.
What's the, do you need a hand moving stuff over? What's the need?
What's the plan?
The need, so staff will move the stuff over there. And then we need help at the park to lay everything out and
Set up.
set up.
What time do you want?
Working.
Okay.
All right. That settles that.
Thank you. I kind of alluded, but and this, we can talk about later, but I feel like it's time to kind of start promoting the arts year round, not just on summer Friday nights. So that's a top, we're running late, so I thought that's a topic for another time, but I have a lot of ideas for that. This space is involved in that, which is why I wanted to make sure that was on the radar. Do we have, and I don't know if this is city or, I don't know who this is aimed towards, but do we have, cybersecurity in our town?
We do,
I mean, you're feeling good about, I mean, cause I keep reading about.
the
towns
water
that are
treatment
getting
plants and things.
Oh, yeah.
the hack.
Yes, I guess.
Okay,
We also have an insurance policy.
For that as
Yeah.
well, yeah.
okay, thank you. I thought so, but I've been reading a
I
couple of
think we
articles
did
about
that
little towns.
4 or 5
I
years
think, and
ago.
I wanted to make sure.
We're supposed to be doing weekly cybersecurity training too. I hope everybody's involved. AlexaNet, you get,
And your iPad, they send you, it's called AlexaNet, it's a
it's part of your
training for your. Cyber training,
I guess I got a little bit.
yeah, AlexaNet.
Although they're calling something else, Bridge Secure. I wish they had told us because I clicked on the link in the AlexaNet and it took me to something else.
Well,
No,
that
that's
sounds like a
wrong.
woman's clothing.
I had to call Dave Standy and find out what's going on. Oh, well, you know, we like to change things up every now and then. I guess it was a test. If you click on the link that you get sent to. Yeah, they're kind of underhanded with some of this stuff. They exactly.
Yeah, I try getting some of the emails I get at county.
But anyway, if I might, I asked Jeremy if the city has a plan for if something goes wrong. And he said no, so I'm a little concerned
If something goes wrong, where, what?
if somebody clicks on a link and then,
We have insurance.
well, no, I'm talking about what is the city gonna do to fix it?
Well,
Is
they
there-
have it specifically set up, so the counselors are slightly set outside of the system.
Yeah, we don't have any codes to give away. I'm looking for assurances that the city has a plan. If a city employee does something, oops, I goofed. Do we have a plan to?
They have
shut things down?
a company that will come and take care of the issue.
Okay, okay,
All right,
Okay, to register for October 15 to 17, do I just? Do I do that? Do I let Lucio know?
You'll have to let us know so that we can register for you.
That's right, okay, okay.
there's only 5 spaces available, so if you'd like to go, please make your voice heard now.
I already did.
Yes, you did.
Have I been registered yet? Cause I need to get the lodging.
You have. That.
What else have you got there?
No. No, I can bring that up another time. That's all. Okay.
Okay, so for National Night Out, I did get confirmation from Luke that we can use his tow behind grill. I would just I won't be able to facilitate picking that up, so, if somebody else can kind of reach out to him and ask, what a good time tomorrow would be to pick it up with one of the public works trucks or however we want to tow it. But he did confirm that we are good to use it. As a reminder for whoever works it tomorrow, we found out last year that there are valves on the underside, that dictate which side of the grill you work on, so,
Make sure
we
you turn
found
those
out
valves.
right at the end that we could have had a much more efficient system. But he did confirm we could do that. AQI is supposed to be 165 tomorrow, which you're generally having, canceled league sports at that point in time, and there's usually things starting to get canceled then, so we just want to be careful, I think, tomorrow. If it gets really bad, just kind of looking at what our contingency plans are, and at what point we want to call it. We don't want people, coming out to see us just, and that not being a good idea health wise. And then, for park water, so we have not been irrigating the park, correct?
Well, right.
Is that a concern for the trees at all? Like if we've got the big sequoia there, this thing's.
Because the roots are deep enough that it reaches down to where it can get water.
A quick note, I was talking to a gentleman a couple weeks ago that, was in the city council years and years ago. And he made a comment about doing a compressor down into the well and blowing out a ton of sand. And once they did that, it was like 35 years ago, because they had the same problem where it dried up. It blew the sand out and it worked. And I don't know if that's an option this year that we can at least look into or something. It might help, I don't know,
I'm gonna go out on the limb and say probably not.
probably not.
I got a bid for right around $5,000 to tie the park into city water.
Oh.
And was told by Jeremy that that's too much money to spend on something as silly as watering grass, so.
Well, I'm thinking the
Wait.
park.
That he didn't bring it to council, because that's really council's realm, not his. I mean, we had Judy in here last week complaining about the grass being watered.
Can we circle back next?
Yes. Okay, anyways.
Do it in October.
Can I ask a question about that? This is part of what I was gonna ask. That little line was applied into the city water. Do we have the water available to water the park?
In moderations, probably.
How close are we to using drinking water for watering the lawn? A year, are we gonna be okay for, assuming that we just go ahead and hook up to the city water, only 5,000 or 6,000? Is that what you said? That doesn't seem to be all that bad, but
The water line's right behind the bathroom and we could have tied in
Yeah.
right there. And
so my question would be, do we have the capacity to do that?
Not if you do it every day, you'd have to do a soaking like
Yeah,
maybe twice a week.
we would water it like the system was set up with the irrigation well, where you would water 2 to 4 hours a night. Couple of sections each night,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't strain anything, it would be overnight, but.
Well, I got a text from a community member, I'm not even sure who, but that was a question. Can we put a press release out or something? Let people know, here's the situation. Here are our options, but we're working on it.
For, I'm sorry, I didn't
A
catch.
press release, could we issue a
About
press
it.
release?
About the park and the water?
Yeah, let people know why it's.
I'll mention it in my letter that I had to put in for the Area Street News.
Okay, it might be good to do it on the website too, because.
We
not
can do it there
everybody-
too.
Okay, thank you, good.
My last thing is I just want to confirm that the approved budget is what's on the website now, not the post.
There's nothing on the website.
I'm putting together the book, I was waiting for, you to be back to help me out. Those are things that I don't.
The proposed budget's on the website.
Yeah, well, but the actual, like,
The
the
adopted
budget.
budget.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like the one from, so one of the whole problems with the community page recently was that people were reading the proposed budget instead of the approved budget. And then the approved budget they're reading is the approved budget for last year. And so the curiosity was just, you know, the timeline of when that could be up there, I guess.
We're hopeful within the next couple of weeks, we're gonna have that on the website.
Cool. Sounds great. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's all I got.
Should we take down the old one?
That's not a bad idea.
When we put the new one up,
Yeah. Do we have to have the approved, the proposed one up there by any kind of? Law
It's just up
regulation.
there temporary until we get the adopted one.
Cool. Sounds like fun.
okay, you were done with your comments.
I'm good.
Councilor Ryan.
Well, I think I want to correct the record. Council didn't make the decision to cancel the parade. And I'm not sure where the information came from that there was no funding. But I went ahead and made lemonade. I went out to Newburgh and I joined their parade and they liked what they saw. It was so fun.
Excellent.
I made lemonade, no scurvy for me. But I was also thinking, I have recommended in the past, because I'm an expert at parades, that time of day, at that time of year, we're gonna hurt somebody sooner or later. Maybe if we find a way to still honor the old timers, maybe we can take this opportunity to move the parade to the daytime.
I think we should leave it up to the community members.
Okay, let's talk to them. Let's make a point of talking to them, because I had thought Founder's Day, right? Founder's Day, we could be doing something with that, and I did some math. 1880 to 2030, we're coming up on 150, it's a few years away, but it takes a while. Maybe we should start thinking about doing 150-year celebration. We'll get there in a few years, but move the parade to the daytime. Might be a good time to start thinking about it, talking about it, and asking the communities. Yeah. And. Okay, that's it for tonight.
Okay. We have the safety levy coming up, or how are we promoting it, getting the word
I
out?
was gonna ask you.
Are we talking about it in
Tomorrow
Friday night?
Okay, National Night Out, Law Enforcement Connection. Well, we gotta figure out a way to talk to people tomorrow night.
Yeah, but we need to talk to people outside tomorrow night, so in November, they're gonna vote for police services. Otherwise, we won't have any.
Yeah,
So
that's part of what we need to talk about, what could happen if we let the levy slide. So what's the plan?
Not at the general.
there, the plan is for council to go out Friday nights to talk to our neighbors, to knock doors, to send out flyers. We all talked about, yeah, we talked about a postcard,
Yeah, that can't be advocacy then, so whatever we.
but it can be informational.
It can be information.
It would be helpful to have flyers at the,
But we can make flyers that we can hand out tomorrow night.
Yeah, we can.
are we looking at city?
We could
No,
actually,
it's not, yeah.
no, it can't be staffed, it has, I'll make a damn flyer for tomorrow, but anyways. I'll make a flyer for tomorrow, but we still need to come up with some other ideas. For promoting,
Can we restart coffee with Councilman? When do we have a schedule for the next one?
I've never even heard of that.
she doesn't know about that, and,
This. Cause last one was, I think you and I.
it was only two people that came.
Alright.
Two people, we need something to get out there a little better. I don't know, maybe I need to be stupid on YouTube or something and.
If you get those flyers put together, ones that we can start handing out,
Yeah,
I've got a group of people that could probably start that.
Okay,
I'd let them know in the flyer that, you know, they can talk to the council members when they come in contact with them with any questions or concerns.
And I can have it on my booth, maybe Friday nights.
Yeah, that's right.
okay, and then we need to make sure. Maybe we can have them at the DCDA booth, that they can just be there.
Well, and Officer Twitchell's on night shift now, right?
Mhm.
So he's not necessarily gonna be around, he may be around tomorrow, he probably will be next.
Yeah.
He's on vacation. Then
Oh, he's on vacation.
Yeah.
Okay.
They all come out for National Night Out.
He's on
yeah,
vacation.
he'll be here tomorrow for sure for National Night Out, but everybody
Yeah, he's on.
different.
He's on vacation.
Oh, he's still on vacation.
He went back.
For clarification.
Jeez Louise.
You gotta take it. Yeah, you gotta take your time. So point of clarification, so for this flyer that you're designing, that we're handing out, to confirm, city can't be functioning as in any way because it's advocacy, so that means that funding for this will also have to come from council, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so then we'll just need to figure out how much we want to print, how much it's gonna cost, and we'll all divvy it up equally, agreed?
Would you, I'll ask you after.
Yeah, let us know how much of them have been pigeon.
And the other thing is, I will not be running for office at all. This coming, got some medical things that are a little challenging right now that I need to deal with, so
So not the city council or something.
my doctor has specifically said I need to step back for a little bit. As hard as it is for me to do that, because I love the city and being here doing stuff, but. Yeah, so I won't be running, and I'm very sad about it,
That's a bummer. And I'm sorry, really, so.
but, so I wanted to let you all know that. So, anyways, other than that, if we have anything else. Okay, so we will,
City manager.
City manager,
yeah,
well,
I provided you all with a written report. We kind of compiled everything from all the city staff. And I hope you like the format. We tried something a little different.
I do like.
I like the format a lot.
Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah.
It's easy to read
It's
it.
a lot easier.
I'm glad. Okay, so we're very happy to hear that, and there are just a few items in there that I wanted to make sure that you all saw. We have been very successful in getting grants. And we do have a local wetland inventory that is a result of a grant that's getting started. So there'll be some public outreach involved with that. We just received an award to do some water financing planning, which is great. Yeah, so lots of good news in the last 10 days with respect to grants and funding.
Thank you, Axel.
Thank you to the people that wrote said grants.
Wasn't it? So, yes.
For paving.
Nice.
Yeah, the small city of Lawton for paving.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Fine.
Here's who I have some information on pavers. People that are paving. So, talk with whomever I need to. Afterwards.
Regional Pollution suggests, email out today that there's 10 million available. Well, text stuff.
You probably got it. Yeah.
Let's pay Palmer Lane. Yes.
They'll give it all of it to us for, you know.
I'm gonna put a bumper sticker on my truck. Pay Palmer Lane. Yeah.
Right, so we're gonna adjourn from the regular meeting and go into executive session.
Um,
Oh.